Hi guys, this is Ola from Cardbond, and you're welcome again to this ship wheel series using Fusion 360. And in this particular video, we're going to proceed with our assembly process. And for this, we are going to be inserting new components and placing them in our previous saved file. Alright, so at the end of this is what we're going to have as seen on our screen, and let's just jump right into this. Alright, as opposed to our previous videos where we began with a new file and how to insert all components in, so for this one we are just going to continue from the previous, which in this case is our saved part number 3. So what we would be doing here is just simply bring in the new components that are required and placing them or creating the assembly here. You could, however, use the previous method, but you're simply just going to increase the number of files that you have. So for this, we go over to our front cover. It's just one. Insert into current design, and it is placed here. We notice that it's upside down, so I will just rotate it 180 degrees this way, say 180. And then we also bring in our back cover, insert into current design, and this we do not need to, well, I think we need to rotate, so I'll rotate it in this direction, 90 degrees, right? And lastly, we'll be bringing in one of our rivets. Right click and insert into current design. So for the rivet, we have this is just a single part. We could move it separately, place it somewhere else, say OK, and I close the data panel, and what we have on our screen is all of this. To proceed with our work, what we do is to begin placing our joints. We start with the front cover. I would rotate downwards and select the center of this face to make a cylindrical constraint. So if I select one of these cylindrical edges, it snaps to that point for me. Now I would rotate to the top view and select also the center of this face. Now we have a cylindrical constraint placed between these two. However, you notice that this is within our file, so they are intersecting each other, so I'll just move this upward a little bit and say OK. And then the next thing for us to do, place a new constraint, so let's say joint. So we'll place constraint between some of these circles, because right now it's just the center that is constrained, which means this part can still rotate. So what we do here is I would place a constraint between the base part of one of these holes. So let's say the hole here, I select on the edge, and you notice that the center point is what is snapped. I rotate to the top view and select the top edge of the hole here. So now it's going to sit just on that hole. With two constraints selected, this, the main center, and this, which means that this no longer can rotate. Alright, so with that done, we proceed to apply the same kind of constraints with the base joint, which is the back cover. We select using this the center face, and rotating our view to the base, we also select on center face here. So we have a constraint that looks like this. I will draw this downwards a little bit so I can place other constraints properly. Now I would apply the same type of constraints I placed previously. So I would select on the base hole for the back cover, which is this. So what I have is that center hole for that back cover selected, and I'll also click on the edge of this handle here, so that those two are fixed together in the cylindrical constraint form. Alright, I say okay, and we have this. Good. Back to the home view. Lastly, we have our rivets. For our rivets, I'll select on joint. I want the rivet to be the one that moves, so I would select on this top cylindrical feature here, right, and navigate to any one of the holes on the top view. So I select on this also, so it's going to be joined together in this manner. Now if peradventure you notice that probably your your joints are moving or it's placed wrongly, something like this, then all you need to do is scroll down here and then you click on flip components, so till it looks like what you want. Alright, so with this I would say okay. And since we do not need to repeat or bring in multiple of the rivets once, so all we need to do is to go over to create pattern, our component, an object to select is our rivet, and our axis, still utilizing the axis we created previously, and 8 instances. We say okay. Alright, so now that we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to place as built joints, or let's just say we place rigid group. So I would say 1, and I'll select all of our rivets, include this, yes, and include our bottom face. I don't need to include all of the handles anymore because the handles are already connected to the this part. Alright, so I'll say okay, and we have that done for us. Now this is what we have, and we can go ahead to save our file, and we meet again in the next video where we insert our circle and also try to apply our nails. Alright guys, see you in the next one.